My name is Ryan, I am 25, and I am a gay man. I found out I was gay in middle school during the 8th grade. I kind of started realizing that I had crushes on like every boy who was nice to me. My freshman year of high school is when I finally was just like, yeah, I'm gay. I don't think a lot of people knew I was gay just because one, I didn't have many friends growing up, and two, I didn't really tell people about it. I wasn't like hiding it, and I wasn't like afraid to let people know, but it just wasn't something that I saw as important growing up. There was only one other openly gay kid at my high school, and it stayed that way up until graduation. So in high school, I wasn't really exposed to people who were like me, gay people. I mostly just had myself, and I kind of just had to like figure it out. Why is that important? Well, now I am like addicted to gay media. There wasn't a lot when I was in high school, and it surely wasn't as prevalent as it is today. All I really had were like comics and fanfics on Tumblr to kind of like, read about gay stories. It was still kind of relegated to like the darker side of the internet, if you could call Tumblr the darker side of the internet. It definitely wasn't as bad as it was like in the 2000s or the 80s, I'm sure, but definitely seeing how much gay media and how gay people are portrayed nowadays, it definitely makes me sad that I didn't grow up in this current era we're seeing right now. There are still some places in the US where being gay is dangerous, and there's definitely many places around the world where being gay can be a detriment to your life even. But more and more we are seeing gay people in media, and we are seeing gay people openly on social media just because, it feels safer and it feels more accepted and it feels more okay. Something that I always bring up to my friends is I always see gay couples on social media now way more than I did when I was in high school. I see like these cute high school kids just making like romantic videos on TikTok, and I'm not jealous per se, but I'm definitely like upset that I didn't get that same experience. It's just cool seeing that people can post those things on the internet now so nonchalantly, and that it's not like a big deal. Like, it's not an issue. It's not a problem. It's not like, I know that like if I had posted something like that when I was in high school, it would have been the talk for weeks. I grew up in the era when like YouTubers were still making coming out videos, shedding tears as they told their family that they were gay. And it was such a big deal when everyone was coming out. And now you don't see that much anymore. People are just so open about being gay that it's like a non-issue. It's not even like a bullet point about their life anymore. I think what brought this up all is that I just finished watching Heartstopper, and my TikTok has been inundated with a bunch of people who, just like me, feel upset that they didn't grow up in the current era of like gay acceptance. And even saying like gay acceptance feels like it's too much sometimes, because like I get that like it's still dangerous to be gay in some places, but it's definitely a lot better already in like since the last 8 years since I was in high school. I think collectively us older gays are just upset that we didn't get to have romance in high school the same way that these two boys in Heartstopper did, the same way that our straight friends did. Something that always makes me sad is that I didn't get a prom, and I can't really even imagine what prom would have been for me. Being asked out would have been a no, simply because I went to a very conservative high school, and I can't not imagine doing like a promposal between two boys and it going down without any I wouldn't say that they would be mad at us for like doing a promposal between two boys, but they would definitely find an excuse to be like, you guys are creating a nuisance or something like that. There would have definitely been some like disciplinary action if like two boys did like a promposal. And I definitely could not imagine dancing with another boy. I'm sure nobody would say anything out loud, but they would definitely be saying things to themselves. So I didn't go to prom because I didn't have anyone to go with. And instead, I got to watch all my friends talk about who they were going with, who else was going with who, what they were going to eat, what they were going to wear. It was supposed to be this huge event in like my teenage life. And I just got to watch everyone else live it to the fullest. I just had to watch that all from the sidelines while they were having like their first romances in high school, and I had not even dated anyone at that point. I think with gay people in my age range, the biggest thing that we missed out on was experiencing romance in high school. It's something that I read a lot of stories on, is kind of just feeling like you're behind in your romantic life because you didn't experience that when you were younger. Because either it wasn't accepted, you weren't out, you didn't know you were gay, whatever reason it would be. A lot of people in my shoes just didn't, experience romance until their late 20s. And at that point, like, you're just behind everyone else. I didn't have my first kiss until I was in my early 20s, whereas the rest of my friends had their first kiss when they were 15, 16. And that really affected me for a long time. I just didn't think it was ever going to happen. And during my first relationship, it really just, it was clear that I had fallen behind. There was never like a first kiss, first dance, first date thing for me in high school. That did not happen until I was in my 20s. And even now, like, dating is still such a hard concept for me just because I've only really had one real relationship, and that's it. I still have so much to learn, and I am 25. All my friends are well into marriage, or just they feel comfortable in their life dating. This also caused me to feel my first heartbreak as like a 25-year-old man, and it's hard feeling unprepared for it, I would say. I definitely have friends my age who have like gone through breakups and stuff like that, and they are able to handle it a lot better than I currently am, honestly. It's still something that hurts and stings, and it's gonna take a long time for me to get over my first heartbreak, but I wish this is something I would have dealt with when I was younger versus dealing with it now as a 25-year-old man who has like a job and responsibilities. Another thing I struggled with for a long time also was just accepting the idea that straight men wanted to be my friends. In high school, boys definitely knew that I was gay. Like, it's not hard to tell. So I didn't really have a lot of like male friends growing up. I definitely was not in the same crowd as the boys were. So for a really long time, it was really hard for me to accept like affirmation from any of my male colleagues. And even today, it's still a little hard. Anytime like any of my straight friends like want to hug me, like I still get that sense of like panic of like, oh my gosh, don't act overly excited or they're gonna think that you're into them, stuff like that. And the truth is, it does excite me. I've always wanted to be one of the boys. I've always wanted to feel included. The reason that is because I'm finally like experiencing what being one of the boys is for the first time in my life versus doing that when I was in high school. Earlier this year, I went out drinking with some of my male friends, and I was just taking a selfie, and one of them jumped into the picture and like did a kissy face towards me, like very like boy shit to be doing. But it made me very uncomfortable because it's like, I don't want them to think it makes me overly excited because I'm gay, or that I enjoy it because I'm gay. And I don't think they're thinking that. I think, they just see me as one of the boys, and as the boys do, they just do some gay shit. But it's different when I am gay, and it feels like they think I'm going to love it. I don't know if I'm explaining that as best as I can. All of it just comes from the insecurity and the fearfulness that they are going to think that because I'm gay, that I'm going to fall in love with them, or that I look at them and think, damn, they're so pretty, or something like that, But unfortunately, that's just kind of like in the era that I was raised, that's all the boys I grew up with would think of me because I was gay. I just think that had I been able to interact with straight men earlier in my life, I wouldn't have these hurdles. Coming out is very hard. And in high school, when I did realize I was gay my freshman year, it still wasn't something that I was very open about. But I still think that a lot of people knew just from my vibe that I was like gay. I would still never go around telling people like, hey, I'm gay, or like, hey, actually, I look at boys instead of girls. Still, I didn't have it as hard as many other gay men. I definitely know that some gay men struggle to find their sexuality until like they're late in their 20s. There really is no safer time to experiment than when you are a teenager. Everything when you're a teenager feels like it's very high stakes, but it's probably like the lowest stakes of your entire life. It just seems like generally it is easier and easier to exist as a young queer person. I know it seems like I'm bitter talking about a lot of this, but I think it's mostly just like I'm just excited for what's coming and for what's happening in the world. I'm glad to see that kids these days feel a lot more comfortable talking about their sexuality and that they don't feel like they have to hide themselves from who they are. I know I'm not the only one that feels like they were cheated out of their like teenage years because they were gay. It definitely feels weird to like kind of voice this out, because this is definitely something that I have been thinking for a very long time. You know, let me know what you guys went through and stuff like that. I'd be so down to talk to anybody about this, because right now I don't really have a lot of, I can really only think of like one gay friend that I have. That's all for now. Thank you for listening to my rant. I appreciate ya. Have a good day.